Good evening, race fans, and welcome to race number 25 of the 2022 Velocity Racing League Cup Series. We are here today for the Five Flags 250. My name is Mason Heimbaugh with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here tonight, 1080p, 60 frames a second, as we always do. Folks, I want to thank each and every single one of you for tuning in and watching the start of tonight's race and ready for the action to unfold here tonight at Five Flags Speedway. 250 laps that we will be seeing drivers complete here today as they get themselves ready for their qualifying runs here. Drivers already putting down some pretty solid times here. We've got Jaden Hopp, the 81 car who was just on the top of the pole, getting pushed down by Aaron Smith. The 70 machine back out here at Five Flags Speedway with a 17.27, numbers. Jaden Hopp there getting a little bit loose. Going through turn one. That is not going to help his time at all for this next time around. So, unfortunately for Jaden Hopp, the 17.32 is going to be his best time here today. And for Aaron Smith, gotta say, putting down we'll call it a 1/10 of a second faster than Jaden Hopp here. He is showing some pretty good pace for the start of tonight. But again, folks, you can't really use qualifying as an indicator as to what will unfold throughout tonight's race. Drivers are going to get into each other. Things are going to get real spicy here on the half-mile oval here at Five Flags. So, I'm expecting a lot of competitive action here tonight. And Five Flags isn't necessarily a half-mile oval is pretty small in of itself, but there's quite a lot of room to work with here. But drivers are mainly going to be preferring to stay down on those bottom to mid lines that we just saw James Miller working his way down through turns 1 and 2, but slowing it down here as that's going to be the end of his qualifying run. And it appears that all of the drivers that wanted to make a qualifying run here have done so. So currently 11 drivers out of the looks to be 17 drivers that we have currently registered for the race here tonight. Only 11 of them going to take the chance to go out onto the racetrack and get some qualifying laps in here. So with that being said, Aaron Smith is going to take the top of that pole here with Jaden Hopp in second and Howie Dietrich in that third place spot. We'll wait just a little bit more as there's still just a few minutes left before qualifying is officially over, and it actually looks like here James Coulibaly, the 22 machine, going to take the couple minutes that we have left here and make his qualifying laps here at this moment. So with tonight's race being 250 laps around the half-mile oval, the fuel window for tonight is rather large, 175 to 190 laps for tonight's race. So drivers can push it basically. Oh man, that inside line definitely looking brutal there, especially through turns 3 and 4 that we just saw James Coulibaly working his way out of. Drivers going to have to be very careful down there. It's going to get pretty slick throughout the night as things progress on. So I'm expecting drivers to be on the edge throughout this entire race and really just trying to keep these cars from getting too sideways. We're going to see a little bit of pushing here, but for the most part, it's going to take a lot of skill, a lot of control for these drivers to keep things going green for themselves here tonight. And I have no doubt that the drivers here with Velocity Racing League will be able to do just that. I mean, we've seen some fantastic racing with these guys. Last week, we were at Watkins Glen, and I got to say, that is some phenomenal racing to witness. And actually, I got to correct myself here and see if that's actually. No, we weren't at Watkins Glen. It was 2 weeks ago that we were at Watkins Glen. We were actually at Daytona last week. My apologies. But either way, the action that we saw for the 200 at the Glen was phenomenal last week. It was the Beach Blast 200 at Daytona. And week in, week out, these drivers put on fantastic races. And I'm excited to see what they have going into tonight and preparing themselves to head to the third largest stadium in the United States, Bristol Motor Speedway. As warm up qualifying has concluded here. The driver's going to take a quick second here. Race control going to take a moment to get things sorted out. The white flag is waved here, and we are going to go ahead and get ourselves ready for the starting grid of tonight's race. So with Aaron Smith taking the lead here tonight, a very impressive start to his race here tonight. The number 70 machine going to be at the front of the inside, the front row on the inside here tonight. Jaden Hopp on the outside in the 81 car of the front row. Howie Briss the second row, the inside, the 97 car. Tony Hillbrand's the 92 machine going to be on the outside of row 2. Benny Hogan the inside of row 3 in the number 5 machine. James Miller, the 09 car, going to be on the outside of row 3. Scott Shire taking 7th place tonight in the number 4 Fox machine. Sean Williams, the 89 car, in 8th place here tonight. Charles Jurek in 9th place. Matthew Fitz in 10th. Connor Gibson in 11th. James Coulibaly in 12th place. As we move ourselves up down the grid here, Nicholas Lovell in 13th. Nicholas Corcel? I hope I'm saying that right, Nicholas. Apologies if I'm not. In 14th here tonight, Patrick Colby in 15th. Thomas Sewell in 16th. And Howie Dietrich in 17th here tonight. Drivers getting ready for the pace truck to make that dive down into pit lane the next time around. As we come across the white line. Aaron Smith, one of the winningest most driver here in the series, in the season thus far, having come away with as much as 9 wins. Currently, our points are only updated from the race at Daytona, which is actually correct. Never mind. But we take the green flag here, and very good work here from all of our field as they go through turns 1 and 2, heading into turn 3. Couple drivers stacked up side by side so far. Everything looking nice and smooth. We're taking a look at the midfield here, just seeing if anything's going to happen here early on in this race, or if drivers are going to keep things relatively smooth. And so far, lap 2 of 250. Off to a good start. The 89 machine, Sean Williams, tucking himself back down into the single file line that has formed here. Oh, we've got a car sideways, though. The 31 machine getting himself involved here. Connor Gibson in that 31 car. Nicholas Lovell here in the 37 machine. Unfortunately, making a little bit of contact. Getting a little bit of contact. Ooh, we can also see the 69 of Matthew Fitz up there on the top wall of turn 1. Let's take a look at the instant replay and see exactly what unfolded here. Looking at Connor Gibson in the 31 machine. Into turn 1. Oh, I think Lovell actually gave him a little bit of a love tap. And the rest of the field checking up, trying to at least, and they all just kind of bunched up into each other like an accordion. Very unfortunate way to bring out a caution here, but gotta say, that was a very good start to tonight's race. This is a half-mile short track, folks. This is, I mean, there's a little bit of banking here as well, which helps. It's one thing when you go to a flat short oval, but it's a whole other thing when you go to these tracks that have, enough banking where you can work with it. You can get a lot of momentum through the turns and just have a good time. I don't think that was really the reason why Nicholas Lovell made that bit of contact there with Connor Gibson. I think that was more just these guys were pushing it to the edge, and going into turn 1, I don't think Nicholas Lovell was quite expecting Connor to get down onto the inside line as soon as he did. Not a whole lot of reaction time there to begin with, so it can be tough. Getting ourselves ready to go back to green flag here. Taking a look back into last week's race at Daytona International. Cody Welch coming home with the win. Sean Williams taking that second place spot. And Howie Briss, the current, still the leader in the championship thus far. Let's actually take a moment to look at the point standings as they are right now. Howie Briss, 4,028 points here in the season. And right now, he is built up quite a lead between himself and second place, Nicholas Lovell. But if you look between Nicholas Lovell and Jaden Hopp, there is only just 28 points separating those two drivers. So the battle for second place rather, is looking pretty spicy here. We've also got a couple other battles happening between 8th place as well as 7th place. But we won't get into that right now as we are about to get back to green flag racing here. But I got to say, for Howie Briss, this has been a phenomenal season for the 97 driver and has just made consistency be the name of the game for his season thus far. Back to green flag racing here. Howie Briss, Tony Hilbrand's going to be side by side, but Howie does not make that last for very long. Out of turn 2, out onto the short straightaway, into turn 3. Taking a look here with Scott Shire in the number 4 machine as we move our way out of turn 4, out onto the front stretch, across the checkered line. It's lap 10 of 250. Seen a lot of the drivers get back into the single file groove that we started to see form right before the caution came out. And a lot of these drivers, I think, are going to kind of stay in this groove here. Again, it's the preferred line. You are going to want to be down on the inside line if you want to stay ahead. We might see a few attempts to go around the outside, but I don't think it'll probably be far and few between. Good example of this as it looks like Jaden Hopp. Nope, that wasn't Jaden Hopp. It looked like James Miller here. Yeah, you can kind of see him kind of peeking out to the outside there, but it's not really gaining him anything. It's not really losing him anything. I think ultimately for James Miller, he's trying to set himself up for a better entry, or rather a better exit out of turns out of turns 2 and 4. We've got a caution out here once again. It looks like James Coulibaly, the 22 machine, might have been involved in this one. Let's take a quick look at the instant replay. So here we go, coming out of turn 2. Oh, a self-spin. No, that's turn 4. Almost a self-spin. He locks it right on up. He prevents it from doing anything worse, but getting himself down into that bottom wall there, and kind of looks like he's stuck there. It's like he was stuck on something. I'm not sure exactly what that was, but either way, it looks like James Coulibaly, not a whole lot of damage to that 22 machine. It looks to be he's going to stay out on track with the rest of the field here, so great news for James Coulibaly, being able to put himself back out, well, stay out on the racetrack rather, not necessarily put himself back out, but avoiding a worse wreck like that, getting those tires locked up, making sure he doesn't get himself any more damage than he already probably has. Great work there from James Coulibaly, and that just goes to show, folks, the level of experience and skill that these guys have that race in this series. There is an incredibly talented field here, is what I'm trying to say. So, as we're back to single file restarts possibly, we won't know for certain until it's 1 to green. And unfortunately for us in the booth, we don't know that information offhand. So we're kind of always playing off of the lights on the pace car, pace truck in this case, and just kind of making sure that we're paying attention to those sorts of things. So And it does, okay, so it does appear we're going to go back to double file well, maybe. Possibly. Tony Hillbrand's looks, yes he is. Okay, going back to double file restarts, I had a feeling that was going to be the case. I don't think they would, not really a whole lot of reason to bring out single file restarts quite yet, unless the cautions get a little bit too much here. But so far, I mean, honestly, this has been good racing so far. Couple hiccups here and there, but drivers going to get things to the point where they like them, and I think we're going to see some extremely solid racing here throughout the night, as we've already have. Howie Briss, Tony Hillbrand's, though, going to be side by side as the pace truck makes its way back through pit lane. Coming out of turn 4, the green flag is in hand, and down it goes across the checkered line. Heading into turn 1, Howie Briss doing phenomenal work here, keeping himself ahead of these two drivers, duking it out behind him for that second place spot. James Miller, the 09 machine, you can see him trying to tuck it all the way down as far low as he possibly can to get himself onto the inside of the 97 of Howie Briss here. Little bit of a late break there, it seemed like, for James Miller, but I actually, you know what, I take that back, because he was running the same exact line before we took to the caution. So James Miller here, he knows what he's doing. I'm gonna keep letting him do what he's got in mind here tonight and see if it pays off for him. But locking on with Aaron Smith here, like I was alluding to before, the 9-time winner here with Velocity Racing League, back here tonight for a race at Five Flags Speedway. And right now, just kind of chilling in the mid-pack, we got a couple drivers side by side. Scott Shire able to break away from that here. He was, oh no, we got the 77 Thomas Sewell down on the bottom of turn 2, into the infield actually. No caution either. Oh boy. Field is going to be catching up to that driver here rather quickly, so hopefully the 77 Thomas Sewell is aware. Actually, it looks, nope, he didn't come down into the pits. He's still out here racing, so he's back up to speed here, but definitely, okay. Howie Dietrich, the 34 machine, also with the Phenom Paint Shop paint scheme on there as well, the same that you'll see on Tony Hillbrand's 92 car, having a little bit of an incident here. Let's take a look at the instant replay. So coming out of turn 2, I'm assuming as we come through 4, okay, here's the slide through 3, and around the back end goes, and looks like he tried to get it down into pit lane there as well. I don't know if there just wasn't enough room, or he might have just slid too far. Maybe even the car shut off on him. Who knows? Anyway, anyhow, the caution, the third caution of the night, going to be out here, lap 26 of 250. And frankly, of the 3 cautions that we've seen here, it's all, well, I don't want to say all, but it's mostly been single car or 1 or 2 cars involved. Other than the first caution, that was, well, can't really exclude that one. That one is definitely more than 1 or 2 cars, unfortunately. But for the most part, we've got all of our drivers still out here on the racetrack right now, with the exception of Howie Dietrich, who's currently in the pits right now, just getting, I'm assuming, a fresh set of tires. No, actually, no, he's not. Looks like possibly fuel? Only in the pit for about 5 seconds, so I don't think he might have just got a splash of fuel, to be quite honest with you. But anyway, point being, 17 drivers still out here on the racetrack at this moment, and Howie Briss still in the lead. James Miller taking that second place spot, though, from Tony Hillbrand's. I mean, we saw it all. James is just he's taken kind of the odd line here, and so far it seems to be working pretty well for him. I'm curious to see if it's going to work in his favor to be able to make a pass around Howie Briss here. I mean, Howie is a strong driver in this series, obviously, having led the championship for, I think, majority of this season so far. I would at least say 90% of the season, and has just done phenomenal every single race. If he's not in the top 3, he's at least in the top 10, and that's almost guaranteed every single time for the 97 driver. So Howie Briss definitely knows what he is doing here tonight. Dawn Hilbrands is asking in the chat here as well, how many sets of tires are allowed for tonight's race? And Dawn, thank you for asking, because I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the race. There are 4 sets of tires for each driver behind the wall here as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. So, a couple drivers have already possibly utilized a set of those tires here tonight already. Let's see who's going to be next as we take the green flag here once again for the 5 Flags 250 race number 25, the 2022 Velocity Racing League Cup Series. And look at James Miller here. Right on the outside door of the 97 machine, we come out of turn 4 across the checkered line. They're duking it out still side by side. Great action coming out of turn 2 out onto the back straightaway, and it's neck and neck at this point right now. They are pretty much locked on wheel to wheel and not budging an inch. And I can only imagine just how hard James Miller is driving that machine right now. Let's actually take a look. I'm curious to see. Riding on board here with James Miller, you can just barely see Howie Briss right on his inside. And I know this doesn't give you a completely great view. Let's actually take to the helmet camera here of James Miller. This might give you a little bit of a better idea here. James Miller currently taking that lead, and it looks like Howie Briss falling off there just a little bit. There's a little bit of a scuffle there. Tony Hilbrand's now onto the inside, down the back straightaway. Hilbrand's taking the second place spot, pushing Howie Briss down to third. Benny Hogan with a line of other drivers seeking the opportunity to make a pass here tonight with a driver stuck on the outside lane. Benny Hogan going to push his way ahead of the 97 here, leaving Howie Briss nowhere to go to try and get down onto this inside line and prevent himself from losing any more positions here. Jaden Hopp, the 81 machine, now going to crack his way into the top 5. Howie Briss just barely hanging on here. A little bit of room that he might be able to wiggle his way into as we come out of turn 4, out onto the front straightaway. There he goes, just ahead of Scott Shire. It doesn't last very long. Jaden Hopp going to find himself right ahead. Kind of blocking both of these drivers here. He's not letting either one of them by. Riding on the roof camera here of Howie Briss in the 97 machine as we come out of turn 4 onto the front straightaway. Just taking a look at some of the different action that we have here on the racetrack. James Miller doing a phenomenal job leading this race now, and Tony Hilbrand's back up there into that second place spot, trying to work up a little bit of momentum here. He's got Benny Hogan, the 5 Valvoline car, just absolutely all over the tail end of the 92 Tony Hilbrand's. Great views from the 97 of Howie Briss. Let's take a look at some of the other action happening out on the racetrack as well. The top 10 driver, 10th place, Nicholas Lovell, currently trailing along with Aaron Smith, Sean Williams, and Charles Jurek. Jurek on the outside of Sean Williams at this moment. It's the same spot that Howie Briss has found himself in, and it's tough. This is a tough spot to be in. I could almost guarantee that you're going to be burning through rubber a lot more just trying to keep up with the guy on your inside. The lap 43 of 250. Again, the fuel window for tonight was 175 to 190 laps, but again, there are 4 sets of tires behind the wall here. for drivers to use. So, a little bit of a tap sideways. Sean Williams keeping it together, though. But back to what I was saying, driver's going to have those 4 sets of tires, so I would expect we're probably going to see drivers come in here to pit lane to get some tires here, probably around, I almost want to say the 100 lap mark. Maybe lap 80, lap 100, somewhere in that margin. I would imagine that drivers are going to want to get a fresh set and get back out on the racetrack. I could be a little off on that number there, but Howie Dietrich, the 34 car, he's back down here in the pits as well. Not sure if he's having some struggles with that machine or what the case might be here. Taking a look at Tony Hillbrand's, the 92, currently sitting in that second place spot. Benny Hogan right on his tail here as well. Not a whole lot happening up here at the front of the field at the moment. But I'm sure as these drivers get themselves prepared for their next stint here, things could shake up in the blink of an eye, as strategy is a huge factor in these races. And sometimes you could be leading the entire, let's say, first half of a race, and all of a sudden you're the guy in 6th place, 7th place, or beyond. Jennifer Nan says hi and hello. Thank you for tuning in and watching tonight's race. Great to have you, as well as everyone else joining in and watching tonight's race. Friends, families of the drivers, great to have you all. Great to be broadcasting tonight's race for these drivers here as well. A lot of good racing that we've seen so far. Lap 50 of 250 side-by-side action here with Sean Williams and Charles Jurek. Nicholas Lovell as well, keeping himself right behind these two, just waiting for the opportunity to arise. And we can see just ahead of them as well, Aaron Smith and Scott Shire duking it out side-by-side as we work our way through turn 3 and 4. Yeah, you can start to see it from Sean Williams here. These cars starting to get a little skittish as they burn through their rubber here. Okay, so I'm going to take back my 100 lap prediction for coming into the pits for tires. I think it's going to be closer to about, max lap 80. Honestly, I'll stick with that number. The lap 80 is probably the max that we'll see a driver stay out here, but I could be entirely wrong as well. I'm essentially just guessing at this point, but just kind of judging things right now and looking at how these drivers are clicking off laps, I don't know. There could be a couple drivers here as well that are kind of trailing along here towards the tail end of the field. I mean, who knows? It could be Patrick Colby back here in the 9 machine who says, hey, you know what? I'm going to come out later towards the end of the race and win this thing. Who knows? Connor Gibson here as well, the 31 machine. These two drivers just kind of in their own little pocket on the racetrack at this moment, just racing along side by side, trying to catch up to this pack ahead of them that's containing Sean Williams, Nicholas Corsel. Again, I hope I'm saying that right. Charles Jurek, Nicholas Lovell. A good patch of drivers here. Speaking of patch, we got the 7 Sour Patch machine of Nicholas Corsel. And now I want Sour Patch Kids. So that's great marketing there. As we work our way down the back straightaway, heading into turn 3. Just checking in with our drivers in the lead at this moment. We're starting to see Benny Hogan work his way down onto the inside of James Miller, challenging him for that second place spot. And folks, like I said before, the inside's where you want to be if you want to make a pass here. And oh man, Matthew Fitz on the outside there as well. Lap traffic getting involved in this one. That was close. That is not a spot that you want to be in as a driver. you start to get a little nervous at that. Oh. Door to door through turn 3 and out of 4 onto the front straightaway. Benny Hogan taking the lead here. Oh, a little bit of bumper banging here. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate you. Appreciate you helping me out here. I wasn't too sure if I was saying it right or not, but now I know. Thank you, Paul. Paul Mikulicek as well, a driver that I actually haven't seen on the racetrack here in a while. Paul, you're going to have to get yourself back out here in the pierogi machine and turn some more laps. Lap 63 of 250 here for the Five Flags 250. And Benny Hogan, after an incredible amount of patience here for the Valvoline 5 car, able to push his way up into the lead. James Miller, though, look at this. The 09 car starting to see a little bit of a wiggle and wobble. Again, as tire wear starting to come into play here for a lot of these drivers. We saw it from Sean Williams. They're starting to see it from James Miller. And folks, again, kind of going back to what I was talking about before, is that, you know, I really don't know just how hard these guys are going to be pushing on these tires, especially when you're side by side like that, you know, like we saw with a few different drivers, like we're seeing right now with Sean Williams and Charles Jurek. Especially if you're on that outside line, things can get a little tricky here. Nicholas Lovell, though, he's starting to feel the pressure from Sean Williams in the 89 machine. Backs off just a little bit just to give him enough room here. Lap 67 of 250, and I got a feeling that we're approaching that pit window here, at least for tires, for sure. And Paul, that's A-okay, man. You know, if we happen to see you back out on the racetrack, that would be awesome, as this is not so awesome. Contact out of turn 4. Multiple drivers getting spun out on this one. Sean Williams, Charles Jurek, 2 of them here in this incident across the finish line, as we're going to take a look at the instant replay. Here with Sean Williams, Nicholas Lovell, Charles Jurek. Oh, contact to the rear end, and it just gets worse from there. Thomas Sewell, he tried his best to avoid the 76 of Charles Jurek there. That just was not enough, and a domino effect happened from there. But while that is all happening, or happened, rather, drivers are making their way down through pit lane, getting a fresh set of tires, and getting themselves ready for their next stint here. Thomas Sewell on the other hand. Whoa, Aaron, what was that? It looks like he hopped. I don't even know. Anyway, Thomas Sewell, back to my point here, came in extremely early. He came in, okay, never mind. Completely just threw my whole theory out the window with that one move right there. So that's not exactly what we were going to see here. I thought we were going to see Thomas Sewell stay out there and lead some laps, but nope. Nope, he's going to play it safe. Aaron Smith, however, the 70 machine, going to come back out onto the racetrack first and be starting out in the front row here tonight. And for Aaron Smith, the 70 machine has come in 4 times already into the pits. Now, I'm not exactly certain what for. If I'm looking at this correctly, it appears that he's come down once every caution. And so I'm not entirely sure what the plan is here for Aaron Smith. I mean, but hey, you know what? He is up here in the front. He's in the lead. He's got Benny Hogan, who has been fighting to get up here into the lead, who, frankly, after quite a bit of patience, was able to get up there. I don't know. This could get very interesting very quickly for, I mean, both of these drivers. We've got some extremely talented guys up here. Aaron Smith, he's obviously shown that he knows what it takes to win here with the VRL Cup Series. Benny Hogan, another strong driver in the series that has just shown incredible performance week in and week out. Tony Hillbrands, Jaden Hopp, James Miller. I mean, we can go on and on here. There is just an incredible amount of talent in this field. As the pace truck makes its dive back into pit road. Back to green flag racing here at Five Flags Speedway, coming out of turn 2. Onto the back straightaway, Aaron Smith taking no time at all. Building up a gap between himself and second place, Benny Hogan. Oh, we got sideways action here, and it's the big one as we come out of turn 3. Look at the pileup of cars here. Scott Shire's involved, James Miller, Charles Jurek, the 9, Patrick Colby. Let's take a look at what happened here. Oh, the tap from James Miller to Tony Hillbrands. That's what starts it all. And from there, just, I mean, you can see it right there. They all just stack up bumpers essentially into one another. And it looks like Scott Shire, he might have caught the worst of that here as well. That car is not, yeah, not too happy. Fifth caution of the race here tonight, lap 77 of 250. We're going to take a quick commercial break up here in the booth, and when we come back, we will have more coverage of the Five Flags 250 right here at Five Flags Speedway. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and we'll be back for more iRacing right here on Team Goon Squad. Right, as the lights go off on the pace truck. Lining back up double file as we come down the back straightaway. Aaron Smith, Benny Hogan going to be in the front row with Jaden Hopp, Charles Jurek in the second row, Sean Williams, Patrick Colby in our third row. Coming out of turn 4, the green flag is in hand. Down it goes. And back to green flag racing here at Five Flags Speedway. Trying to keep things calm and steady here this restart. Let's back things up here to a wider view. Drivers coming down the front straightaway. Oh, Charles Jurek getting into the inside of the 31 of Connor Gibson and brings him along for a ride. right into turn one. Let's take a look at the instant replay of that. That is a wild one. Right, it all starts right there. The tap right across the checkered line. And the 76 going to give the 31 a little bit of a push through turn one. But man, oh man. That's all it takes, folks, is just one little wobble. And all of a sudden, your race can go from pretty good to not so good. As we're going to see a good majority of the field come down into the pits, and Aaron Smith also coming into the pit. I am beyond confused now. Looks to be only taking fuel that time as well. So I'm a little perplexed by Aaron Smith's strategy here tonight, but hey, you know what? The man has also won 9 races in the series this season. So you can't exactly question him too much here. Don Hilbrand's making a good point here. Would be really interesting if the full field of drivers were on the track. And yeah, I gotta agree. When you jam a lot of drivers on these short tracks, it gets spicy real fast. And let me tell you, I mean, sometimes it doesn't always go the way you plan it to. But man, is it sometimes some really good racing that you get. And I gotta say, you know, it's not often that you see 25, 30 plus drivers on a short oval. But it is a thing to witness, let me tell you. Pace truck making the dive back down into pit road. Coming out of turn 4 onto the front straight and back to green flag racing here once again for the 5 flags 250. Too wide, too deep for the drivers in the front row as we come out of turn 2 and onto the back straightaway. Jaden Hopp here going to take the lead in the 81 machine, as Aaron Smith decided to come down into the pits last time around. But Aaron seems to be moving his way up here just little by little, as there is still well over. Oh, we've got trouble down the back straightaway with Charles Jurek. The 76 car coming out of turn 4. Someone might have made a little bit of contact there to the rear end of him. Let's take a look at the instant replay and see what unfolded. Oh, the 31. Oh, no. The 31 of Connor Gibson, he got himself a little bit loose there. And a little bit of a push. I believe it was into the 9 of Patrick Colby up into Charles Jurek, and that sent him spinning around. Wow. What an interesting way to bring out a caution. So that's going to put Charles Jurek down here in pit lane. Nicholas Coruscant, the 7 driver, also making his way through pit road. So So it's still Jaden Hopp, Sean Williams, and James Miller all in the top 3 here. Tony Hillbrand's Benny Hogan rounding out the top 5. So Jaden Hopp right now currently sitting 3rd in the points championship at this moment. Only, again, 28 points behind Nicholas Lovell for that 2nd place spot. So tonight, if he comes home with a win here, that might just very well push him up into that 2nd place spot. Now, there's still quite a bit of distance here before Jaden Hopp is able to get either Nicholas Lovell or Jaden Hopp are able to get close to Howie Briss here, as Howie still has a 247-point gap between himself and Nicholas Lovell for that 2nd place spot. So he's got quite a bit of room to work with, and I think, I mean, honestly, I don't know if we're going to see anyone challenge Howie Briss towards the end of the season here. We're just going to have to wait and find out. Plenty of races left here in the 2022 VRL Cup Series schedule. So, folks, if you haven't already, get yourself subscribed, because there are plenty of more races just like this one that we all get to witness and see unfold. An exciting year for Velocity Racing League as the pace truck dives back down into pit road. Coming out of turn 4, the green flag drops here once more. James Miller, the 09 machine, trying to get himself stacked up right behind the 81 Jaden Hopp. Sean Williams running this outside line, though, and you know, the one thing to note here, folks, is the sun has set here on the track. It is now dark, and so that asphalt is going to be cooling a lot faster. Tony Hillbrand's pushing his way up here into the 4th place spot on the inside of Sean Williams. And there you see James Miller pushing his way up into the lead as we come out onto the back straightaway. That inside line advantage showing its dominance here. Lap 100 up 250. 25 laps left to go before we reach the halfway point in tonight's race. Oh, Tony Hillbrand's there getting a little bit wobbly on the exit of turn 4. Keeping it together otherwise, but Benny Hogan, the 5 machine, currently sitting in 7th at this moment, with Howie Briss, the championship leader, all kind of trailing along here outside of the top 5, trying to find a way in. Aaron Smith with a little bit of a tap to the wall on the exit of 2, but that's not exactly going to work too much in the favor of Howie Briss here. He's still got to find a way around the inside. Sean Williams, who's currently down on that inside line, not really making it too easy here as well to... Oh, man. You could see the rear end of the 89 just about get away from him, but he kept it together. Real smooth work there. Take a moment to ride on board here with Benny Hogan in the number 5 machine. Let's go ahead and just take a listen to the sights and sounds here at Five Flags Speedway. Great driving here from Benny Hogan, and Don Hildebrand's asking, do the drivers see the darkness like we do? Well, it looks like the camera angle answered that question for her anyway. But yeah, this is how dark it would be on the racetrack. I mean, for the drivers, racing right now. You know, and what's even crazier about this service, about the iRacing service, is that, you know, normally you don't really get a whole lot of opportunities to race tracks at night, you know, with no lights or anything like that. I mean, there are obviously tracks like Five Flags that do have track lighting and all of that, and it does work. But for tracks like, say, the Nürburgring, where you can go out onto the full course and there are no lights, you know, you can race in complete pitch black with your lights on, or maybe not. Maybe you're feeling a little spicy, you want to turn your lights off, you know, try and do it with memory. Anyway, point being is that you have those options, and it's a great challenge for yourself as a driver. It forces you to memorize every single turn, every single entry, down to the exact point where you brake into a turn. It's a mad science, if you will. You know, the endurance drivers that go out and do 12-hour, 24-hour races and race in the dark, you know, different breed of driver. Really good action here forming between Tony Hildebrand's Aaron Smith and Jaden Hobb. Hildebrand's pushing his way up here into that second place spot and trying to work his way up to the lead. And James Miller, the 09 car, I mean, just been driving away here. Oh man, you can see that rear end wanting to get away from Tony Hildebrand's here as well. Last time drivers came down into pit road, lap 69, lap 70, around that margin. So I would expect to see drivers coming back through pit road here in the next 25 laps-ish. Somewhere in that neighborhood, but that also was during a caution. So hopefully we don't see that happen here again. Hopefully we get to see some green flag pit stops happen, as we'll get to see the field kind of shuffle around in that way. Aaron Smith with a move down onto the inside through turn 1. Tony Hildebrand's up on the outside, down the back straightaway. Aaron Smith up into second place now. Hildebrand's falling to third, but doing good work there, pushing his way down to that bottom lane, preventing anyone else from getting into that train past him there. But it looks like Jaden Hobb, he is going to make a move, though, down to the inside. Oh, Tony Hildebrand's a little bit of trouble here through turn 3. Recovers it, but it's gonna come at a loss, down to 6th place now. Gonna be trailing along here with Howie Briss. And again, as as the sun has set, like I mentioned, the track is now dark. We're under the lights here. Track temperatures are going to affect drivers slightly more. They're going to be able to use a little bit more of the track. And that's why we're starting to see, I think, more of these drivers kind of attack that outside lane and be able to get a little bit more momentum in those lines here. But we're also starting to see some drivers get a little bit loose, especially down here on the very, very bottom of these turns and out on the exits. You can see just how much these cars are fighting these drivers here. Great bit of racing happening, though, in this pack of drivers that we're looking at right now. Lap traffic also involved in this mix. Oh no, Howie Dietrich, the 34 machine, not having a good time here. Oh boy, we're gonna have to take a look at the replay here and see what happened here for Howie. Oh man, you could hear it as well. As he came out of turn 4, he got on the gas just real hot, and the tires spun. Nothing he could do at that point. But as we were talking about that, drivers making their way down through pit road here. Let's see how this works out for these drivers here as they're going to begin to make their way out of pit lane. So Benny Hogan here, the 5 car, going to take the lead on this restart. I'm not sure if Benny is going to take it all the way. Well, I don't know. Benny did come in with the rest of the field on lap 69 to get a fresh set of fuel, fresh set of tires, as well as some fuel. So I'm not exactly 100% certain here if Benny is, I don't know, he might be anticipating another caution here before too long and might be waiting until that moment to get a, I don't know what his plan is at this moment. He might even be confident with his car right now. He might be able to stay out a lot longer than the roughly 70 laps that we've seen here already for stints. Lining back up, double file here down the back straightaway. Benny Hogan, James Miller going to be back up here in the front. This is a pack of drivers that doesn't seem all that ill-familiar now, does it? As we come out of turn 4, pace truck is in. Green flag drops here, and we're back to racing here at Five Flags Speedway. Benny Hogan gonna take some more lead laps here as he comes out of turn 2 onto the back straightaway, but James Miller here a lot of experience on this outside line and seems to be showing his dominance here. Jaden Hopp, a little bit of a wobble. The same spot where we've seen a lot of drivers here tonight get themselves into some pretty hairy situations. A couple drivers able to save it, some not so lucky. Coming through turn turn 4, excuse me. Howie Briss as well. He's pushing his way back up here into the top 3. Tony Hilbrand's also pushing his way past the top 5. Because now the top 3 have fallen into a single file line here as the rest of the field continues to duke it out behind them. Taking a look on top of the roof camera of the 81 machine of Jaden Hopp. Jaden Hopp here, very, very good driving from the 81 machine. Lap 137 of 250. Connor Gibson, James Coulibaly, they're side by side here, taking a look a little bit towards the midfield here. As the drivers start to get themselves a little bit of separation here and there, depending on what their pace is like at this point in the race here. 10 laps to go before there's only 100 left. Connor Gibson there, the 31 machine. Same spot that we've seen multiple drivers here have issues in, and it's a tough track here at this moment. Well, not necessarily a tough track, but definitely some slippery conditions. You can see Connor going way up high there as well, and it seems like that inside, the inside of the front stretch there, definitely not up to temp here. You can kind of see as well where all the existing rubber is on the track. And where some of these drivers are dipping down into, that's exactly where no one has really put any laps across. And so the track temperature itself in that specific spot gonna have a little bit of variation there, and that's enough to get your tires extremely loose. James Miller, oh man. Oh, look at the wobble coming out of that 09 car. Just trying to keep it together here as well. And doing a phenomenal job. I want to ride on board here for a moment with James Miller and just see how difficult it is to keep these race cars going. Look at that, just cranking on his wheel. Aaron Smith, the 70 machine, coming down into pit road. Not 100% certain what for here. But you can hear just how patient James Miller is being with this 09 machine right now. I mean, he is trying oh so hard to keep this thing in a straight line. And he's doing a phenomenal. He's making it look so easy too. Oh, caution's out, though. James Coulibaly involved in this one, the 22 Penske machine. Penske machine. I don't know why I said Penske. Taking a look at what unfolded. He might be a self-spin. Yeah, there it is. All on his lonesome, just getting real hot. Out of turn 4, just trying to get into that throttle, and the track is just not having it. So some of our drivers coming down through pit road. James Miller, Nicholas Coressel, Matthew Fitz, Thomas Sewell, Aaron Smith, Scott Shire, Howie Dietrich. But the drivers remaining out on the field at this moment: Howie Briss, Tony Hilbrands, and Sean Williams. Going to take the top 3 here on this restart. So Howie Briss here, after taking a little bit of a time here to get himself back up here into the lead, now going to have an opportunity to restart and lead some laps here. He's got Tony Hilbrands, who's, I mean, frankly been gunning for some opportunities to lead some laps here. And I mean, the 92 machine has put up a lot of great competition here. Sean Williams, the 89 machine, starting to work his way up here into the mix of things. I mean, it's starting to get real heated up here for the lead. As we go back to green flag racing here for the 5 Flags 250. Look at Tony Hilbrands. That was quite the run there. He tried to push it into turn 1 as hard as he could. Down the back straightaway, Hilbrands still almost door to door with the 97, having to slow the car up as he comes through turn 4. Definitely don't want to run yourself into the wall there, but Tony doing a phenomenal job. Now starting to see some pressure from Sean Williams, the 89 machine. Howie Briss is going to be using that to his advantage, though, to build up a little bit of distance between himself and second place, and frankly, the rest of the field for that matter. Jaden Hopp, Sean Williams side by side here as we come down the back straightaway. Very good racing happening out here on track at this moment as Tony Hilbrands and Howie Briss, they're going to duke it out side by side. The 92 machine able to get himself up here. Down on the inside of the 97 machine, out of turn 4, out onto the front straightaway. Heading into turn 1 here once more. The inside line advantage. Let's see if it's going to come in favor here of Tony Hilbrands. Howie not giving up without a fight. staying up right up on top. Coming out of turn 4 down the front straightaway and just launching that 97 machine. Trying to get himself ahead of Tony Hilbrand's. Tony staying right on the bumper for the most part, but trying to get onto the inside here. And as that's happening, I mean, that's allowing the field behind them to start to catch up. They're stacked up too wide, too deep, and it's only going to get spicier as they continue to push each other down these straights and through these turns. Cautions back out here with Nicholas Lovell involved. Oh, and Patrick Colby, the 9 car as well. Benny Hogan, a little bit of contact to the wall there. I don't think that's what caused this, though. Oh, Colby gets loose through turn 2. Well, kind of right halfway between turn 1 and 2 there. Man, Nicholas Lovell getting caught up into that one, and tough. Absolutely tough. I don't think there's been there's only a handful, there's far few less drivers who haven't been hit than who have been hit here tonight, if that makes any sense. So lap 167 of 250 here, folks. We're going to go ahead, take another quick commercial break here, and we will come back for more iRacing right here on Team Goon Squad right after these messages. Lights are off on the base truck. Pace truck is in. Tony Hilbrand's, James Miller side by side as the green flag drops here once more. Lap 170 of 250. Side-by-side action up here for the drivers in the lead at this moment. Tony Hilbrand's trying to fight off James Miller. James, who has done a phenomenal job of showing that this outside line can work. But it's definitely not easy And James seems to be the only one tonight that really seems to be able to make it work for himself. Connor Gibson, though, meanwhile, the 31 car getting into a little bit of a scuffle here. Let's take a look at the instant replay and see what happens here. Okay, yeah, looks to be Charles Jurek might have gave him a little bit of a tap to the left rear bumper of the 31 car, sending him spinning around here. So that's going to put a few more drivers down into the pits. Tony Hilbrand is going to be one of them. Benny Hogan, Matthew Fitz, Charles Jurek, all going to opt to come down into pit lane. So, I mean, a few different race strategies being played out here. And I think if I had to guess, the drivers coming into pit road right now are planning for the end of the race, essentially. I think this is a good spot to come into the pits, get your final set of tires, get your final bit of fuel, because, I mean, theoretically, you should be able to make it all the way until the end, assuming that there is no more well, let's not, okay, let me back up. Assuming that there isn't any more cautions tonight. So James Miller right now leading this field, currently sitting at 9th place in the championship. After last week's race at Daytona, that actually pushed him down into 9th place from 8th. Scott Shire taking that 8th place spot, and only 3 points separating the 8th and 9th place spot in the championship. So for Scott Shire, I mean, unless a miracle happens for the 4 machine, who currently sits a few laps down at this moment, I don't think he's going to see himself still in that 8th place spot after tonight is over. Now, again, frankly, for a lot of these drivers, the points thing, the championship stuff, doesn't always, you know, it's not what they're here for at the end of the day. Some drivers like it because it's competition. Drivers like to win. That's just the nature of being a driver, whether it's sim or real. You like to win. That's a pretty common theme amongst most race car drivers. But anyway, as the pace truck works his way back down into pit road, we come back to green flag here in James Miller, the outside line king that I'm going to call him here tonight. Coming out of turn 2, out onto the front straightaway and just making it look easy. But Jaden Hopp, another strong competitor in this series. The 81 machine going to stick it down onto the inside and stay there. Meanwhile, 3-wide action down across the checkered line dissipates as we tune to it, but still 2 wide, looks to be almost 3 deep. I mean, we've got drivers just shuffling all over this racetrack here at this moment, trying to get any bit of an edge that they possibly can here. Charles Jurek, a little bit of a wobble out of the back of that 76 car, coming out of turn 4, keeping it together, out of turn 2. Single file for a lot of this field here. We've got a few drivers stuck on that outside line. Looks like Connor Gibson is the only one at this moment, the 31 machine, being involved in a few different incidents here tonight, if I recall correctly. Able to still stay out here on the racetrack and keep himself in the action, and not only in the action, but on the lead lap as well. So, I mean, for everything that the 31 machine has seen here tonight, that is just absolutely incredible. To not be put down any laps and to still be clicking off laps with the leaders here on lap 183 of 250 for the 5 flags 250. steady action here as we go into what I'm going to say is basically the final half of the race, if you will, the final stint of the race for these drivers. Everyone that came in during this last caution, I'm going to say that they're probably good all the way until the checkered flag. So that's going to be, I mean, there's a few drivers here that are kind of in the in-between area. Howie Briss came in lap 165, so I'm not 100% certain that he is going to be able to stay all the way into the... I mean, I'm more than confident that he might be able to, but it's kind of right on that teetering edge where it could be close. It could be cutting it very, very close here for Howie. We'll just have to wait and see how this goes for these guys, but I got to say, this is some very interesting strategies being played out at this moment. And look at the action brewing here, coming out of turn 4. Across the checkered line here, Benny Hogan. Oh, no. Jaden Hopp, he's in trouble. I think that was possibly he got himself into a little bit of a slide there, but saved it before the caution could come out. Oh, man. Credits to Jaden Hopp. I almost said Jaden Prop. Props to Jaden Hopp for keeping this 81 car on the racetrack here and avoiding that caution. That could have been bad. Bad. I mean, losing a few spots in the race, that's one thing. Losing your entire race car in a race, different story. Completely different story. Now, while these may be virtual race cars, you still carry the weight of the guilt that you have from wrecking a race car. Lap 193 of 250. It's starting to see quite a bit of spread actually happening out on the track, and not entirely sure well, you can make a few guesses here. I mean, some drivers might be kind of conserving at this point, knowing that we've got a mix of drivers who came in during the last pit stop and drivers who came in about 10 laps earlier to that. I don't know. This is going to be interesting here, and starting to see how Howie Briss and Tony Hilbrands, I mean, they're starting to get a pretty good pull on the rest of the field, and we haven't really seen that yet all race long. We haven't really seen the leaders, the top three, really build up any significant gap to the rest of the field up until this point. So I'm not exactly certain. Oh boy, that'll do it though. James Coulibaly, the 22 machine, the GoPenske.com car, unfortunately getting himself involved in, looks like the same spot that we saw him in before. Let's take a look at the instant replay. So here we go through turn 3, coming out of turn 4. Yep, a little bit of the same that we saw before with the 22 machine earlier. Getting himself into the same situation. I'm sure he's going to be kicking himself for that one. But again, great work locking those tires up. A lot of drivers that are new to sim racing, you know, the first thing not really the first thing, they don't do anything is the problem. When you start to feel that slide, when you start to wreck, a lot of new drivers, they don't realize that you should lock up your tires, get yourself to a stop, and to avoid, getting yourself into anyone else for that matter. So, good work there. James Coulibaly going to bring it down into the pits though, as he did make a bit of contact to that wall, to the inside wall there on the front straightaway. So he might have damaged something up there. to that front end. He might, I mean, who knows what it could have been. But either way, either how, he's going to bring it down into the pits, let the pit crew check it out, make sure things are all good to go before he gets back on the racetrack here and gets back to green flag, or well, yeah, green flag racing here, excuse me. Here we go, coming through turns 3 and 4. Pace truck is in. Back to green flag racing we go, and James Miller, Tony Hilbrand's taking it side by side as we come down the back straightaway. Hilbrand's not letting up an inch here, knowing, I mean, I'm sure he's fully aware of what James Miller can do on this outside lane here. I mean, he has just been killing it out there at this moment, but looks to be the 92 starting to pull away just a little bit here. Miller not letting him get too far away, and frankly, that's just impressive how well James Miller is able to keep this car up here with the leader. I'm curious. Let's actually take a look on board with the 09 machine from the helmet camera. I know it's a little dark in here, but you can still kind of get an idea of what James Miller is just doing behind the wheel of this 09 car and what it takes to stay fast the way that he is at this moment. Currently side by side with Howie Briss, and Howie not letting him play these shenanigans with them. He is going to push his way ahead of the 09, pushing his way into second place here. As we come out of turn 4 out onto the front straightaway. And it looks like Miller here, he's actually going to get caught up. Oh no, Nicholas Lovell, the 37 machine. Coming out of turn 4, you could see, oh man. It was like watching it in slow motion. That was. Let's take a look at the instant replay here. Almost 3 wide there for a second, but there it is. Right out of turn 4, and Nicholas Lovell, I'm sure, just in that moment, not too thrilled, to say the least. I know I, myself, as a sim racer, have been in that same position. It's not the best feeling in the world, and Nicholas Lovell has had a fantastic race here tonight as well. I mean, pushing his way up here into the top 10. He was up there in the top 5. I believe the top 3 even there for a little while. And just, man, not a whole lot of drivers here able to escape the misfortunes of Five Flags Speedway, as, I mean, really, this track has seemingly taken a lot of names here tonight. No one being able to escape the bad luck that's seemed to come over a lot of drivers here tonight. I mean, not to say, bad luck is a bad word. Let's not say that. Just tough times. We'll call it tough times. How about that? But 13th caution of the race here. Only 40 laps left to go. By the time we go back to green here, it'll be, I would say, about 38, 37 laps to go. So this is it. This is kind of the final shootout of the race. And drivers have, you know, we got a mixed bag up here in the field right now. I mean, we've got Tony Hilbrands, who still rocking the same set of tires from lap 173. Howie Brisk coming in lap 197. James Miller lap 150. It's all over the place here, folks. I mean, I don't think there's only a handful of drivers that are running the same set of tires. Yeah, I don't know. Things are going to get very interesting here in the final few laps of the race here tonight. And for Tony Hilbrands, taking the lead here with Howie Briss on the outside in the front row, this is going to be a tough restart, especially knowing that there is about, almost near 30 lap difference of tires between these two drivers. So, I mean, you could almost say that Howie Briss is, I don't know, he might have the upper hand in this situation. He's going to have to get his way down onto that inside lane here, I think, in order to make this work. I mean, unless he's been taking notes from James Miller and been studying him this whole race. I don't know. Things could get very, very heated here very quickly. Pace truck is in. Green flag is out here once more. And Tony Hilbrands doing everything that he can do at this point, which is just get on the gas and go, go, go. Trying to keep it nice and steady here. And James Miller, I mean, he is looking for an opportunity down on the inside here to get himself up into the lead. Lap 214 of 250. Drivers scrambling all over the track here for positions. Three wide here as we go into into turn one. Quickly dissipates there as Nicholas Lovell, the 37 machine, able to get his way back up into the top five. Single file up here for the drivers ahead of him at this moment. And James Miller, I mean, look at that. You can see him, that rear end, just slightly sliding a little bit through these turns, but he's able to just glide it all the way through and makes it look so, so easy. Sean Williams, though, meanwhile, he's going to push his way ahead of the 09 machine up into third place. Caution is going to be out here again for Connor Gibson. The 31 machine getting himself involved in another little scuffle here. Let's see exactly what unfolds here. I believe this is going to be a lone car incident. And it looks to be that way. Yeah, just getting himself a little bit loose coming on the exit of turn two and gets himself down onto the infield. So ultimately no harm, no foul. Nothing, no damage to the 31 car. No one else involved in that incident here, but unfortunately going to come at the cost of positions. Falling back here into 12th place at this moment, as we've got still a few drivers that are down a good number of laps here at this moment. We can take a look here on the left-hand side of our screens, just exactly what I mean by that. Scott Shire down 15 laps. Nicholas Coruscant in down 25 laps, as well as Thomas Sewell. So Howie Briss, Tony Hilbrand's going to be in the front row. Sean Williams, Nicholas Lovell in our second row. Jaden Hopp, James Coulibaly in our third row here tonight. As I believe this time around, the lights will go off on the pace trucks, so it'll only be one lap to go before we go back to green flag racing. So indeed, the lights do go off. So when we come back around, it'll be lap 223. Pace truck is in. Coming out of turn 4, the green flag is up and down it goes. The 5 flags, 250 back underway here. Lap 223 of 250. Howie Briss retaking the lead here. Currently the driver with the freshest set of tires at the front of the field at this moment, but there are definitely more behind him that have come in at lap 208. They still got a little bit of ways before they work their way up to the front of the pack, though. But for these drivers here at this moment, as we come down the back straightaway, just taking a look at some of the other drivers here in the field. James Coulibaly, the 22 GoPenske.com machine on the outside of Benny Hogan. Looks to be James Coulibaly here, taking kind of a horseshoe approach, it seems like, to turn 1 and 2 here. Or maybe that was just a little bit of a slip-up going into turn 1, just missed his braking point by a few feet there. Not entirely sure, but 25 laps left to go as it ticks across our screen on the top left. Few drivers side by side as we head our way into turn 1. Charles Jurek, Nicholas Lovell down the back straightaway. Almost side by side between these two, but now it's going to be Benny Hogan and Charles Jurek. Nicholas Lovell here trailing down Tony Hilbrand's, trying to get his way closer and closer to the top 3. And you can already start to see the top 3. Howie Briss, Sean Williams, Jaden Hopp, getting a little bit of distance built up between them and the rest of the field here. There's almost a second gap between Jaden Hopp and Nicholas Lovell here at this moment, who now takes that 4th place spot away from Tony Hilbrand's with 20 laps left to go. Oh no, trouble as we come out of turn 2. Nicholas Lovell involved in this one here, and oh man, not the first incident that the 37 has seen here tonight. Let's see what unfolded here. Hilbrand's right on the tail end, coming out of turn 2. Oh no, Nicholas Lovell, at no fault of Tony Hilbrand's there. He did a good job checking up there as well, trying to avoid that as much as he possibly could, but Nicholas just getting a little bit loose going on the exit of turn 2, and you could start to see the wobble happen. And at that point, there was nothing that Nicholas could really do at that point in time. I mean, frankly, I've seen a lot of different drivers involved in, you know, wrecks that they try to save it, and it looks like they have it there for a second, or it's tough. It's tough, folks. I mean, there are certain situations where you can, if there's enough racetrack, if there's enough, you know, clear track ahead of you, or you can go into the infield and try and get it to slow down. Those sorts of situations, those are beneficial. But on tracks like this where there's no infield, there's only you, the wall, and the other wall. You only have so many options. All right, so as we come across the line here, the lights go off on the pace truck. 15 laps left to go here at 5 flags. Howie Briss, Sean Williams in the front row here. Benny Hogan, James Miller, our second row. Charles Jurek, Patrick Colby in our third row. Pace truck with the dive down into pit lane. Coming out of turn 4. Green flag is up. And down we go here for what will probably be the final time here tonight. At least let's hope so. Howie Briss, Sean Williams duking it out down the back straightaway. We've got a few drivers side by side. Almost 3 wide here. Oh, look at this. James Miller right up on top of Benny Hogan coming out of turn 4. Miller down to the inside of Sean Williams, pushes his way up to second place here. Miller looking to come home with a win here tonight down the back straightaway, trying to get a run on Howie Briss. Stacks up right to the bumper through turn 4 onto the front straightaway. He's staying down low. He's trying to keep up that momentum into turn 1 here again, staying right as tucked in as he possibly can. Good exit here from the 09 of James Miller. 12 laps left to go. Howie Briss, all he's got to do is stay consistent in these final few laps. And so far, I mean, you could almost call the guy Mr. Consistency. Howie Briss has done a phenomenal job throughout the season. Coming home with top 10s, top 5s, poles where it matters enough to put himself on the top of the championship. And now with a significant gap already and looking with only 10 laps to go to come home with a win here tonight, that's going to increase his lead even further. As James Miller continues on with his fight here for the lead. Meanwhile, in the midfield, Jaden Hobb down on the inside. There's contact between himself and Charles Jurek. Jurek going to fall back behind Nicholas Lovell in the 37 machine, just behind Jaden Hopp here as we come out of turn 4, out onto the front straightaway. 8 laps left to go. Single file throughout this entire field now, as I don't think anyone wants to give up an opportunity here to, whether it's an opportunity or just a position in general, I think every single one of these guys is focused on just coming across the line and coming home with a win here. But look at this. The battle for the lead only gets more intense. Out of turn 4, James Miller on the inside here of Howie Briss through turns 1, out of turn 2. Onto the back straightaway, the 09 machine, they are neck and neck. As we come through turn 3, Howie Briss staying right up there with the 09 car down the front straightaway. You can see Howie Briss launching that 97 machine down these straights. Little bit sideways there for the 97 car. That's going to give the advantage to James Miller. Benny Hogan now on the inside of Howie Briss. Oh, man, not looking good here for the 97 machine, just trying to keep it together, come home with a podium at least here. Tony Hilbrands, meanwhile, the 92 machine, pushing his way up here into third place. 4 laps left to go. James Miller going to look to come home with a win here tonight. Benny Hogan trying to see what he can do here, make a move. Oh no. You could see the front end of that 5 car, the 5 Valvoline, start to get a little sideways there. Corrects it, keeps it together. For Howie Briss, the misfortune just does not stop there, though. Falling back here into 5th place behind Jaden Hopp. And all that was is it was one mistake that cost him this. White flag is out, but there's trouble on the checkered line. Benny Hogan. A completely smashed race car here, but the white flag is out. Checkered is now flying. We're still racing, and James Miller with the win. Oh my, okay. Wow. Howie Briss, Jaden Hopp, they come across the line. They are neck and neck with each other. Howie, though, able to come home with 4th place in that run. Absolutely incredible finish here tonight for the 5 Flags 250. As James Miller is going to prepare for his celebratory burnout. We're going to go ahead and get ourselves ready for post-race interviews. Alrighty, folks. So, the first driver that we are going to have up in the booth here tonight, as we have our post-race results up on our screens here. James Miller coming home with a win. Tony Hillebrand's in 2nd, and Nicholas Lovell in 3rd, who's going to be up here in the booth here with us tonight first. Nicholas, sir, welcome to the booth, and congratulations on a 3rd-place finish here tonight. Nicholas, you found yourself in a number of scuffles here tonight, and some of them involving other drivers, some of them just yourself. I mean, you stayed out there on the lead lap, coming home with a podium here tonight. This has got to be a tough race for you here in the season so far.
Oh, yeah. No business getting 3rd place, but I will definitely take it. That last lap when it fell apart for everybody, I took advantage of it, and I didn't kill Howie somehow. I mean, I nailed him right in the back, going down the back stretch, and didn't wreck him, so I'll take it. I thought I was dead multiple times.
You know, and you're not the only one, too, that kind of saw themselves in multiple incidents and still stayed out there on the lead lap. So, I mean, huge props to yourself, huge props to all the drivers here that managed to do that tonight, and or even just stay out here throughout all of this carnage here. This was a tough race tonight, and for yourself, I mean, you were fighting, gunning for any position that you could, it seemed like, and you found yourself in the right place, right time there at the end, and again, able to come home with that podium. That's always a great feeling. Now, going into next week at Bristol, kind of similar action, short track racing, but a lot more banking, a lot more speed potentially. What are your thoughts and expectations for Bristol?
I mean, if I'm not on a flatbed, I'll be surprised. I've never had a good race at Bristol. And I've been on iRacing for 7 years. I don't even know if I've finished, to be honest with you. I'm usually upside down on a wrecker. So we'll see.
Well, hopefully we'll get to see yourself back up here in the podium, or maybe even just with a top 5. I mean, hey, you gotta take them as they come, Nicholas. But you did phenomenal here tonight, and coming home with a podium. Hopefully get to carry that momentum into next week at Bristol. But before I let you go here and celebrate, is there anyone watching the broadcast, anyone at home or in the pit crew that you want to shout out and thank before you go?
No, man, I think everybody's done for the night, but it's good talking to you, and hope maybe I'll get lucky and get to talk to you next week. You never know.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know. Something could work in your favor and see yourself up here one more time. But again, thank you for joining me up here in the booth tonight, Nicholas, and congratulations on your third place finish tonight.
Yes, sir. See you later.
Have a good one. All right, that is Nicholas Lovell out of the booth here tonight. Up next is going to be Tony Hilbrands in the 92 machine, taking home second place here tonight. Tony, I believe this is your... Okay, no, this is your third pole of the season. Okay, I got a little worried there for a second, but anyway, welcome back up here to the booth, and coming home tonight with third. I mean, this was a tough race for literally every single driver. I mean, I don't think there was anyone here that didn't see some sort of competition or just tough running here tonight. But for yourself, able to come home with second after, I mean, frankly, we just saw the field shuffling around all over the place, and especially there towards the end, things got rather interesting. I mean, walk me through what your expectations were for tonight as a driver and maybe even as a league owner.
Well, I expected to be faster on the short run, but apparently that wasn't in the cards tonight because I was slow as hell. But when we got some long runs in, I think I was the fastest car out there. I was catching people and passing them. We just didn't have that many tonight, and it ended up with a short run, and I think I waited a caution too long to get that last set of tires. But I don't know. I think James just got in a little too hot that one incident where he turned me. At the end there, I felt really bad, and I apologize to Benny, and I know he's mad, and he's probably not gonna accept it right now, but I tried everything I could to stay off him, and then I don't know how I saved it when Jaden got into me after that, but my entire rear end came off the ground.
Wow, we've seen a lot of carnage here tonight. I don't think we quite caught that on camera, but I mean, man, it's interesting to see just how many drivers were affected by incidents here tonight, but were able to stay out in the race and keep competing on the lead lap, yourself included, as well as Nicholas Lovell. I believe even James Miller as well got involved in an incident or two. But
yeah, James was in a couple.
So I mean, with that in mind here, I mean, what do you think could have happened if there was no cautions tonight and we just stayed green the entire time and had green flag pit stops and all that?
I think Aaron had something to do, so he was going to bounce, but I think until then it was going to be probably, if it was green, it was going to be him, me, and Benny that were going to be up front. Howie was killing his rear tires, and James was drifting the whole time. They really benefited from the short runs. I think even with all the cautions we had, I think the race went pretty well tonight, because we did get 3 good green flag runs, and that last run was a good 10, 15 laps to the end there. So I think the race went pretty well.
Yeah, I would say so too. I mean, even despite all the yellows, it was a great race, and a lot of really exciting action throughout this race tonight. So I look forward to next week at Bristol, where it'll kind of be a lot of the same action. At least I hope so. Kind of same size track, a little bit more banking added to it. It's going to be a good one. But Tony, thank you for joining me up here in the booth tonight, and hopefully get to talk to yourself next week again. But before I let you go here and celebrate, is there anyone watching the broadcast, anyone at home in the pit crew that you want to shout out and thank before you go?
I just want to thank everybody who shows up every week and runs, because I think we put on really good racing, and all the people who show up and watch, because we do this for you guys, and then you for broadcasting with us. It's been a pretty good year this year, even though I've been getting wrecked more than I planned on it.
Well, Tony, I don't think anyone quite's getting planned on getting wrecked, but you've done a good job this season as a driver, and you've done a phenomenal job putting on this season as a league owner. So thank you for that, and thank you for having myself broadcasting these races for you guys. It's been a pleasure. It's been a phenomenal season. I look forward to the rest of the season. But Tony, I won't take up any more of your time here. Thank you for joining me up here in the booth, and I look forward to seeing you next week at Bristol.
Yep, thanks. Have a good one, Mason.
You as well. Alrighty, folks, that was Tony Hilbrand, second place driver out of the booth here in the 92 car. Last, and certainly not least, probably the driver I'm most excited to talk to here tonight, James Miller, the 09 driver. James, I kind of dubbed you the outside line king here through at some point in the race here tonight. It just looked like you just had a whole different game plan than any other driver here tonight as far as how to tackle this track and stay fast. I mean, it seemed like sometimes it was working, sometimes not so well, but ultimately you came across the line for first place here tonight after, I mean, just, I don't even have words to describe what happened tonight. This was just a phenomenal race. But James, I won't keep jabbing away here. Walk me through your night here and just kind of what your plans were to tackle the Five Flags 250.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really know. I didn't really have a plan going into it. Just, the usual, give it good everything every lap. But I remember I've run some super late models here, and I just found this setup at the start really didn't like. Personally, I didn't like the bottom, bounce around a lot. I found like I could roll the middle better. And yeah, like it was faster, but I think I was pushing harder. I kind of wore my tires out, so kind of adapted to that later on. Excuse me. But yeah, it was just kind of right at the end there, from pitting and then getting back up through the field really quickly within like maybe 10 laps at the most. I was like, okay, I'm gonna hold these last tire sets. We're gonna have cautions at the end. It's almost guaranteed. I'm gonna save these to like the right time. And I think it was lap 220 or something like that. Caution came out. I'm like, perfect. This is what I want. I wanted 25 laps to go. I would have rathered 5 laps later, but got the lead or passed for the lead with 5 to go, and kept the car out front and got her done.
Yeah, and this will be your third win of the season, joining Jaden Hopp in the 3-win trio. This has been an interesting season so far for I think every single driver in the series, and coming home with a win tonight in Five Flags and looking forward into races like Bristol. I mean, knowing that you can perform well here in tracks like Five Flags and potentially like Bristol, I mean, what kind of confidence does that give you going into these short tracks that remain on the schedule?
Yeah, I mean, I know short tracks have always been kind of more of my driving style, those and road courses, but I don't. Bristol's not really the best track for me, short track wise. With having to run the outside line, it's a little different. We'll see. Probably get caught up in a wreck, to be honest, but I would love that not to be the case. But we'll just see. We'll go in and see if we can maybe pull a pit strategy off like we did today. If the tires wear out a lot like they did here, then I could see it happening, but not sure. We'll have to see when we get on track. But it was really nice to get this win today, since we were talking Watkins Glen. We're back at Watkins Glen, looking forward to Daytona. And, I was pumped for that, and then I come down with a cold. I can't even race because I'm, like, out of it. I was like, there's no way I'm doing Daytona in a pack when I can't even focus right now. So I'm fortunate I had to skip that, but, I mean, it's great to come back and get the win here.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really great to see that. Unfortunate to hear that you weren't able to attend last week's race at Daytona. Great to have you back this week, though, and what a way to make a comeback, even though it was only for a week. But James, you did a phenomenal job here tonight, and hopefully for next week at the Hot and Spicy 250. What a great name. That's a perfect name for Bristol. Anyway.
That's a great name.
Hopefully we get to see yourself back up on the podium next week and in the rest of the few races that we have left in the season. But James, thank you for joining me up here in the booth tonight. Congratulations on your win. And before I let you go, crack open that champagne bottle, excuse me. Is there anyone watching the broadcast, anyone at home or in the pit crew that you want to shout out and thank before you go tonight?
Yeah, definitely. Just big thanks to Team AV for everything. Shout out to Jeff Fisher. Look forward to hopefully racing with him here soon. It's starting to get back internet-wise and the rig set up. But shout out to you for the broadcast, the folks at home watching. This was a bit of a caution fest, but I think it was a good race. So we'll just appreciate that, and hopefully see you guys next week.
Absolutely. Look forward to seeing you at Bristol, and hopefully get to see yourself back up here next week as well. James Miller, thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Right on. Thank you.
Have a good one. Alrighty, folks. That was James Miller out of the booth here tonight, coming home with the win for the Five Flags 250. My name is Mason Heimbaugh with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here tonight for the 2022 Velocity Racing League Cup Series. That is going to conclude our coverage tonight of the action. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, catch all the action that we have here on Team Goon Squad 7 days a week. Thank you all once again. Can't thank you enough. We will see you all next week, same time, same place for the Hot and Spicy 250 at Bristol Motor Speedway. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you next week.